this staffing industry, why it has a higher in the turnover rate?
The turnover rate is because too many people get the idea that in staffing, it's kind of like get rich quick, you know, like make a lot of money very quickly. They don't understand that that doesn't happen. You have to actually work and earn that money. You have to work your rear end off. And yes, you know, your coworker, you might hear that that person's making, you know, $200,000, for example, or 100, whatever the amount may be, that is what you want to make. And you're thinking, I'm smarter than that guy. Yeah, but you're not working as hard as that guy. That guy's getting up before you. He's, you know, making sure to do his research. He's making 2 times as many phone calls. He's making sure to stay late. He's doing all the things that you, as a smart person, if you did it, you'd beat him and you'd make the money you're looking to make. But too many people, unfortunately, are not willing to do that. And also, too many people get into taking things personally. Like you mentioned, everyone's trying to fish in the same pond. So you have a lot of people that will get kind of frustrated with, oh, this guy keeps beating me, or he saw my notes and, you know, he saw that I spoke to that consultant, or he saw that. And instead of stopping to complain about that and moving on to the next call, they stop and complain about that, and that gets to them, and that ends up costing them. So it's a lot of times based on the person not being prepared to go into the staffing industry. Sometimes there is companies, though, that will burn a person out by setting up metrics that are almost unrealistic, and you know, the person can't achieve them, and they feel they lack they don't gain that confidence in themselves. So that's why, another reason why they burn out. But for the most part, I think it's a misunderstanding of how to make money in this industry. They think it's going to just, you know, happen automatically. I'm going to show up every day, and you know, in a year I'll be making the money that I'm, you know, looking to make. No, you actually have to put in the time and the effort and learn.
I agree with you. And sometimes not the resume which looks best on the paper, and if the recruiter spends a time with the candidate whose resume is not much, you know, appealing in the paper, but when we understand when we talk to the candidate and understand, when we have the resume built and tailored according to the requirement, that is going to build the resume which is more, you know, brighter in the paper. You know, that happened to me, because it's all depends how we interact with the candidate, isn't it?
Of course, because I mean, I can pay someone to make a great resume for me, and I could look like an amazing consultant, but then when I show up in front of the customer, I'm not able to speak to that resume like I should. Whereas you're going to have, especially in the IT field, there's some people that just are not good at setting up their resume. They've done the work, they just don't know how to put it on paper. So as a good recruiter, if you're able to pull that out from your consultant, and you're able then to help them set up their resume to be more suited to the job you're looking to recruit for, you should be able to not only find a good candidate for the job, but you're going to be also helping this candidate to get that job, and maybe even other jobs that he's even better qualified for, that are higher level jobs, but he is not, he wasn't able to get that on his own. But you bringing that out, if you're a good enough recruiter, you build that rapport, you build that relationship with the consultant, and they open up and they speak more and more to you, you can really, really find a diamond in the rough. And someone who might have been passed up by 5 or 6 other recruiters, or 10, 20 other recruiters, could end up being the person that gets the job, because they are actually the most talented one. They didn't have a good looking resume.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. People, as a recruiter, we know how a resume should look like. But as a candidate, they just have to put what they think is their skills, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and a lot of times they're very minimalist with it. They will put the most basic information in their resume, thinking that, well, someone's going to call me anyway, and I'll tell them what I do. But unfortunately, in this industry with vendor management groups and everything else, it's difficult. Sometimes the best recruiter doesn't get looked at because his resume, the best consultant doesn't get looked at because his resume didn't show the information that needed to be on there.
The skills will appear in technical skills, Noel, and we will be looking for that in the responsibilities, but that person could be the stronger person there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's where, as a recruiter, if you learn both who your client is, who your account manager is, because your account manager is also your client. You got to sell that person before you even sell the the vendor management team. You a lot of times have to deal with the account manager just like he was the customer. If he was your customer, because if he doesn't send it over to the client, then doesn't get anywhere. You didn't do anything but hit a metric.
Yes.
If you really want to be successful, you got to build that relationship also with your coworkers, with their account managers, recruiters, and that'll make you that'll differentiate you from other recruiters who may not take the time to even something as simple as asking the account manager or asking the recruiter, how do you like to do this? How do you like to go about setting up the consultant for his first interview? How do you like to, look at the submittal? How do you want it laid out? Different things will differentiate you from the rest of the recruiters and the rest of your coworkers, and hopefully we'll build that relationship that'll, gain you some business, gain you some deals, and make you some money.